NG, I'm here and welcome back to another Axis and Allies. Holy crap, it's been a long time since I've actually looked at this board. It's starting to get dusty. But as requested, we are finally going to be starting a war on this map. Just beginning what could end up being like a World War III scenario. But what we're going to be doing first is we're going to be doing Vietnam versus Britain. And now I chose Britain because, well, obviously they're right there. And America doesn't really have much in the Philippines, so they would have to go all the way from Hawaii and the other America all the way over to Vietnam. So, I mean, this entire game board is going to be open to anybody, so there's no real border restrictions. So theoretically, the Vietnamese could attack the Philippines and get America involved, but I don't see the purpose of that. So now, you might be wondering, well, how the hell am I going to be doing a war against Vietnam when this is here? Well, Vietnam is going to get an additional 5 turns by themselves to kind of get their units in place and ready to go. And then they're going to, after the 5th turn, so on the 6th round, they're going to move first and either go and land or sea or whatever they plan on doing. Then that'll eventually get the British involved and thus begin the war here. So I will not be doing this alone. I got my man Sam over here again. He's home from spring break. Say hi. So I'm gonna be Vietnam, he's gonna be Britain. And if you guys haven't checked out our Spanish-American war that we did over here, that was a while ago. See, that was almost a month ago. I would click the card up in your upper right hand corner of your screen, check that out. It was a very quick and simple war, just kind of a fun little one. So I guess without further ado, I should prepare my country for war. Alright, so I just completed my turns. Now, as I said before, I did 5 turns, just building up troops so that it's more of an even match. And then once those 5 moves were up, I did my regular purchase and I moved my troops. Obviously over here, this could have been really predictable. I went for some of the money islands over here. Then I also invaded one of these. Also contesting that oil rig so the British don't get it. And also invading them here in Shan State. And Sam, do you declare war?
Of course I do.
And war has... Is that even a question? So war has been declared, so now the game pretty much moves normally. So as I just did my move, now Sam has his move to respond. Alright, Sam has responded pretty nicely. He moved all of his sea units up here and bettering defending the island so I don't take any more. Sam, why do you do that to me? And he also took out my 1 transport here on 44, leaving my guy stranded. And as for the land, he basically just moved everybody up, better defending the front line. And he also bombed my artillery. That wasn't nice. So that's all that really happened this round. So now I'm gonna do my turn and Sam's turn, and then I'll come back to you guys. So my turn was very quick and simple. I just purchased a couple units, another submarine. I moved the tank from Borneo, went down here to get another money island. So I basically own 3 of the 4, which really boosted my income. And then I just increased my front line here. Just wanting to defend that state for as long as possible and just keep going.
Alright, is that it for you then? See, I can't bombard with anybody. Those guys already moved. So yeah.
And they're not
probably.
battleships either.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see anything else you can do. Alright, so the battles have begun. Yeah, as you can see right here, he's taken on my navy and he has my sea zone contested, so that basically ends the sea wars. But I still have these islands, so yay me. And then this little arrow is here to remind us that the battle is taking place on this territory, and we're just gonna leave everybody here because if you haven't seen the video from before, we are doing this battle World War I rules. So it'd be we are keeping them here because it's pointless just to put everybody back over there when they could just stay here because they're gonna soon end up back here anyway. So yeah, my turn really just consisted of reinforcing the troops, and Sam begun attacking attacking us. And as you can see, I got a decent wall I have to break. But I think with my income, I should be able to withstand some of it. Alright, so that is basically it. The real war has begun now. The action is starting. So now it's time to see how this battle is going to turn out. Because this is really the only big battle we really have, is this front line. Once one of our lines breaks, that's really it. Which I guarantee you is going to be mine, let's be honest. So on to round, what round is it even? 3? 3, 4, whatever the round is. Alright. Alright, just as he's doing his purchase phase, gonna come in here. Yeah, just as I expected, the battle is over. The front line is freaking huge. They are right on our doorstep. So I don't think this is gonna last very longer, but I mean, I still have the money islands, so I'm still getting income, which means I can still fight back. So this war is not over yet, Sam. It's not over yet. Oh no, it's not over yet. Alright, let's see. I guarantee you, you're just gonna come in to Vietnam and wreck. So, let's prepare for that. Alright, the battle has now migrated to Vietnam. As you can see, our troops are supposed to be there, but they're right down here. And now and also he is starting to go after the money islands. I don't know why you didn't go after these sooner. It's like, this is what's keeping me alive right now. But if you guys have not seen the previous video where I explained the special rules that I have for this game, this entire board, basically what he has to do, since my main homeland is is being attacked, and because it's only a one territory nation, he has to defeat all of my units, which in this case he has, as well as take out my industrial complex number. In that case it's 3, so it's basically the same process as if you're bombing an industrial complex, except you're using it with units as well. And then that'll basically stop me from building more units, so then I'll be forced to a surrender. But as long as my industrial complex stays open, I can still purchase some units to defend my territory. So that's how that works if you guys have not seen my previous video. Alright, so now I get the chance to build units and hopefully hold this off and keep my islands. Alright, we are now seeing the fall of Vietnam. As, let's be honest, this was to be expected. So, he went in and he liberated Bruno, or however the hell you say that territory. So, crippling my money yet again. And as see, the battle continues here. He wiped out the rest of my units on my turn, but on his turn, he was free to attack the industrial complex, but he only got 2 hits, so my industrial complex is still alive. So, just gonna obviously repair it and buy a unit, and then we're just gonna repeat the process all over again until basically I'm done. So yeah, I'll see you guys when that happens. Well, it happened. It was gonna happen eventually. Just gonna put your troops here. Alright, so this is how the board looks right now. It fell only yesterday. Oh. But my tank. Oh, it's not dead. Yeah, it only felt like a couple minutes ago where this entire thing was full of red stars. But I guess I'm gonna be forced to negotiate peace. Okay. Now we enter negotiations. Because, you know, I own that. And it was Dutch and you're kind of allies, or you are the Dutch. So, what do you want me to do with my guys in there?
I want you to send them to Africa to help out with the restoration of that place, you know, just world peace and all that.
So basically,
we're peaceful people. Everyone knows.
and you want to send me to Africa?
Yeah, no, you're gonna die, but your troops are going to Africa. Viva la vida.
All right. Well, I guess that's the fate of the remaining troops in Siberius. Is that Siberius? No. Celebes? I don't know. So that basically concludes the. What is this region of the West Indies? Is this the West Indies? Yeah. So that basically ends the Vietnam War / the West Indies. So this is a fun campaign. It's really small. Now, obviously, you can do your own edits, because that's the fun thing about this game, is that, you know, this is basically all made up. I mean, obviously, stuff like Britain and all the other, like France, Germany, America, those are all set up normally, except a little buffed and nerfed, depending on what nation it is. But as for all these other nations, like Korea, the Russians over here, China here, Vietnam, all those are basically just made up. So I would say this was a fun and interesting campaign, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was kind of obvious who was going to be the winner, but I was doing pretty good in the beginning, though. But I just should have. I guess I just should have. Yeah, never mind. So that's basically going to end it for this war. Now, what's going to happen now is that Vietnam is technically going to stay Vietnam, but it is currently occupied by the British because they won, as well as all the other territories that they have. So Vietnam is basically out of the board. So no more scenarios will be anywhere involving the Vietnam. They lost. So whatever other war comes up, this will stay this way. And that's what this board is trying to represent. Each little war will ultimately define how the next one will go. Now that we've actually done something, it's a little bit easier to understand. So that basically ends it for this one. If you enjoyed this very little campaign, leave a like if you did, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, so I think I'm just gonna keep this here, but it's because it symbolizes as still Vietnam, but it's occupied by the Brits. And then these guys will just go away for now. Because now Vietnam is so poor, they're just not going to do anything. Alright, so I gotta say, I think it went really well. It's like I went for the islands. Although every time we start one of these things, we always like over talk it, and we basically know what exactly we're gonna do. Before.
Well, I mean, we're both kind of know what we're doing with this game. Like, we kind of know the strategy like before the game even starts. That's usually how war works. You know the winner before the end.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to figure that out like in a smaller scenario like this rather than like a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
Like a world war. It's a lot easier to figure out what the enemy is going to do.
Mm-hmm. Even in the last one that we did over here, the Spanish-American War, like that one was a little even less than this one because there were like a good distance win. There's a couple of strategies you could do. This one was just whoever owned the islands like won the end game kind of thing, especially with the World War I rules.
Yeah, but I gotta say those World War I rules definitely did make this game a little bit more fun.
Oh yeah, I like playing those rules. Those rules are really fun. to play with. It's just that
Yeah,
like,
and it can get drawn out a little bit.
it draws it out.
But like in this case, it wasn't really that big of a issue because Vietnam did kind of start off slow. Because like obviously the first thing that I wanted to do was take as many islands as possible, but at the time your cruiser was right here, so I knew that you would have just came in right away. So that's why I left this one alone. But otherwise, I just would have gone for as many of these islands as possible, and then just keep them there. Because after that, I just wanted, because I knew I couldn't keep up with the Navy, and having like this whole horde of British coming in at me. So I knew I had to concentrate on one or the other. So get all these, get the money while it lasts, and then just hold up here.
I think that's really what like pretty much got off the end of the game, like pretty signified the winner. Like right away in the beginning was just that the British had like a pretty good navy to begin with. Because I think the only piece I bought was like one of these transports, and like the rest of them were just already like there. So as long as you just play your cards right, like you can pretty much just own the sea. Unless you want to take your original bonus and like, you know, buy an entire navy, which isn't that smart.
Yeah, no. If you're Vietnam, unless if you're really concentrating on just the islands, because if you're going to build up a navy and go take all these islands, there's a potential threat of them cutting off your navy. So that would more pressure you to build a navy as well to counteract that navy, which might, I don't know what it would do for the land war, but I think that would cripple the Vietnam or the Vietnamese a little more because, yeah, British did start out with more than Vietnam, even with those additional 5 turns I got to spend.
Yeah. I mean, other than the placement of the troops, like, it was pretty even. So, honestly, it could have gone anywhere. It's just that it's always just resting this. So whichever player would have gone to, it would have just been like, you know, whoever could hold the line and capture the islands at the same time would win.
Yeah, and basically, if you can get your ships up to Sea Zone 36, the Vietnamese Navy is done. Unless if they have extra ships out here that they could send to potentially take it back. Other than that, it's done. So the Vietnam has to take these islands as soon as possible if they're actually going to get anywhere in this scenario.
I don't know. A couple of things I saw you could do like during the game that I really hope you wouldn't do. You know, that I like was kind of biting my lip about was like when you held this part here right away in the beginning before we started doing the whole slugging match. You could have sent your tanks in quick and taken Malaysia or Malaya.
Malaya.
You could have taken Malaya pretty quick because I only had a couple troops there. So you could have just taken that and then moved back and then would have been fine. So you could have taken that bonus and then your navy, which you explained.
Yeah, that additional wipeout of that additional reinforcements of yours did. I mean, I did end up killing all of them, but it was just more that I should have been able to kill, or more than I should have. Yeah, because it's obviously been a while since I've looked at this board, and I completely forgot that this was separated from this for some reason, because this line was covered up by one of the gray things. So it's like I was worried that, oh shit, I need to stay here, otherwise they can just come up. And it's like I was completely wrong. When I saw that line, I was like, shit.
Yeah, I did that a little purposefully. I kind of covered up the 3 and was like, that's not worth a lot of points.
Damn it, Sam! You're tricky. You're trickster.
Oh yeah.
That was stupid on my part. I mean, this is my board. I should know that this is a separate territory by now. But I mean, yeah, it's been a month since I've looked at this thing thoroughly. I mean, especially in Europe, it's really hard to tell where the divisions are there because you have like the additional country of Austria, and it's like it can get kind of weird because the territories are black, but they're actually these guys' not Germany's. So like, that's kind of one thing you need to look out for in that certain thing.
Otherwise, it was a pretty good game. So.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
Alright. What time is it? 2:52. When do you plan on leaving?
Soon, I guess.
Yeah. Because otherwise we could, like, easily do another one. So the question would be which one.
Yeah, air activity like around in China for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure China.
Yeah, China's a little iffy. But it's obvious to say that it would start between these two, and then China would just come in whenever Korea needs it.